What's going on, everyone? Vince the Engineer here. I have a problem, and maybe some of you have this problem too. See this fence behind me? This is called a shadowbox fence. And basically what it is, the pickets alternate from each side. So you have one on the outside and then you have another one on the other side, right? And it looks nice, but the issue is really down at the bottom here. Let me show you. The issue I'm having is the grass that grows between the pickets here is almost impossible to cut with a string trimmer. Now, if you can see closely here, I've had this fence only for a couple months now. And when I do try to string trim, it just damages the fence, right? So, and it never gets anything in here. So this just grows like crazy. You can kind of see, you know, this guy up here kind of almost 12, 13, 14 inches long or whatever. And, you know, it's just a mess. So I needed to find some way to get around this and to be able to cut this. Now, one solution that I thought of was, well, I could just cut the bottom of the fence all along here, but I really didn't want to do that. Another solution was to just cut out the grass and put like a strip of stone or something like that. Didn't want to do that either. And the reason being is because I have almost 500 feet of fence here. I mean, it's a lot of fence. And, you know, I did put this in myself. I probably should have thought about that ahead of time. I didn't, and now here I am trying to work around this and figuring out a way to cut this grass. I have a solution. Check it out. This right here is what's known as a reciprocating attachment, or rotary scissors in some cases, depending on who you go with. This one actually reciprocates back and forth, so you have a top disc and a bottom disc, and as this thing runs, this blade just rotates back and forth between the top blade, giving you like a scissor cut action. There's another one that rotates physically all the way around, and there are other ones on the market, maybe, you know, if you can find one. But this one in particular I like because it is super thin, right? And although my fence is pretty low to the ground, it doesn't touch the ground in most locations. When I installed this fence, I did put like a 2x4 on sort of like the high end to make sure that it was up about 1.5 or so inches off the ground, because I didn't want it to come into contact with the soil. Now, it is all pressure treated wood and it can contact the soil, but I just thought, you know what, I thought at the time, I thought that would be enough to get a string trimmer underneath of the fence. Turns out it wasn't. So this tool actually does a really good job of getting underneath the fence, and let me show you how it works. But real quick, I do want to give a special shout out to Jordan from the Lawn Tools. I actually had some back and forth conversations with him because he actually has that exact attachment and has made many videos, many TikTok videos, you know, 15, 20 million views on this one particular attachment. I actually had a hard time finding it. I called like 7 or 8 dealers in my area. I was willing to drive an hour to get it. I couldn't find one in my area. I reached out to Jordan. He actually put me in contact with his local hardware store down in Arkansas, called them, was about to have them ship it to me. And then I said, you know what, let me just reach out to one more place near me, and it turned out they had it in stock. I couldn't believe it, so I ended up getting it. But thank you, Jordan, really appreciate it. You know, really appreciate you helping me out there and giving me that recommendation down there. But let's go ahead and show you how this works. All right, so I'm gonna try and do this one-handed, but we've got the machine running here, and I'm gonna run it basically underneath the fence here and show you how cleanly this cuts here. There is a disc basically on the bottom, that metal disc right there, that silver disc, that does a great job of just kind of, you just set that on the ground and you just go with it, and it'll just It'll just nicely cut everything, give it a nice clean like scissor cut action. So let's just place it right underneath of the fence here. You see how that thin blade fits right underneath the fence there? That's what I want. That way it'll cut the grass underneath of it and not cut the fence. Oh man, so I just did that all one-handed, but when I come in here with my blower, it'll blow all this away. All this is cut, but I'll just usually come in with my blower afterwards and blow all that out, and you're left with this really nice, you know, clean cut finish here. I just have to do it for all 500 feet of the fence that we have around the perimeter of the yard here. So it's an interesting solution. Curious to know, for those of you who have a fence like this, how do you cut the grass around the fence? You know, are you using a string trimmer? Do you have, you know, rock or some kind of edge restraint or something that helps prevent the grass from growing up against the fence? Let us know in the comments below. This was my solution. I thought it was a good solution, but I'm interested to know what everyone else does. And, you know, your comments do matter, and people read the comments and learn from that. So would really like to see you share your thoughts in the comments so others can benefit. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for joining.